I'm Dr. Kendra Strange, the principal at University High School, and I'm here today to interview one of our teachers, Dennis Oubre, and he is going to tell us about our rocketry class and some of the amazing things they've been working on. Mr. Oubre, can you tell us a little bit about what your class is and what you guys accomplished in here?
Sure, we're a pre-engineering class. I'm teaching the kids how to apply engineering principles to solve problems. And in these classes here, we use rockets as an objective for them to solve multiple problems. Like they have to bring a 1 pound payload to 1 mile. They have to solve a whole multitude of different problems in order to get that rocket where it needs to go before recovering it. So they have to get the rocket in the air and get it back and recover data from the rocket. So it's a huge accomplishment for these kids. And then our Rocketry 2 program does basically the same thing, only we set the bar a little bit higher, and they try to break the sound barrier every year and remain under a 13,000 foot altitude, which is a very difficult window to hit. And then they have to recover that data also, and that's been the biggest problem, is once their rocket cracks up or once the rocket hits the ground, getting the data all intact and getting it into the administrator's hands.
Okay, that sounds very interesting. You mentioned a couple of times problem solving and engineering, and that's obviously everything that your class is about. But that's a real focus of our entire school. We're a STEM school, and so we really focus on integrating the curriculum with math and English and science and technology. Can you talk about how that integration is represented in your class?
Sure, absolutely. The kids have split themselves up into several different groups. So they have to design t-shirts at the beginning of the year. That's part of what they do. They also are keeping a media journal. At the end of the year, they have to do a complete documentary on everything that's happened in the classroom. We have kids that are right now working on paint and designing the paint and the paint schemes and the graphics that go on there. They're actually learning how to use airbrushes and do a variety of painting things that they've never even heard of before. So they have to get the final coats of paint on there and get our school well represented. And then of course you have the guys that are building the rockets. You have the guys that are working on the electronics on the inside, and they all have to come together and work as a team. And then of course the guys that design the rocket itself, and they have to keep track of all the changes that they make with the rocket as it goes on, and then be able to simulate that rocket and make sure that it's still reaching the objectives. So it's a huge accomplishment, and it's integrated with everything that we do in this school.
That's amazing. So now that you've described this to us, I'm excited to take a step over and talk to some of our students and look at some of the projects in action. Okay, can you tell us what your name is and describe your project for us?
All right, my name is Mark Valadez, and I am doing the supersonic rocket. I'm trying to break the barrier of, I believe it was 13. I'm trying to keep it under 13,000 feet while getting it faster than the speed of sound. It's a very difficult thing to do, mainly because the speed of sound is very fast, and the sound cone that it enters is it's very, how do you say, it likes to push things back out.
Okay.
So what our main challenge is getting our rocket as aerodynamic as possible in order to break that sound cone. If not, it'll just throw it back out, or it'll just shred it into tons of pieces.
How many different projects have you worked through to get to this level right here?
I've done about 4 or 5. Not all have been rockets. We've done CO2 powered cars and our wind gliders, but this is my second rocket. I did another rocket last year, and it was the 1 pound 1 mile, and we actually didn't get to launch it last year, so we're going to do that this year, and we're going to so we'll be launching 2 rockets this year for my group. Yeah, I've done all sorts of things. This is really my favorite class. I've done all the hands-on. I've helped even in the design, and it's really fun.
That's awesome. That does sound fun. Do you have any classes that you think outside of rocketry prepared you to be really good at this?
Yeah, math and science really helped me. Physics, calculus really helps a lot. Pre-cal, I'm in pre-cal right now, and a lot of stuff that I've learned in there I've learned in here as well, and it's just helping me. It backs me up in there, and it helps me out in here. And like with physics, I know what like Newton's laws and stuff that helps me here. But like I think the most helpful was just probably going to be algebra.
Wow, all the way back to your freshman year.
Yeah.
That's really neat. Well, thank you for sharing your project with us. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to move over here and see what we have going on. If you could tell me your name and tell me what you're working on.
My name is Dementia Calhoun, and I'm currently working on a rocket that will be shooting Coca-Cola into the air.
Coca-Cola?
Yes.
You're going to need to explain that just a little bit to me.
Okay. He described that we need at least 20 ounces of a payload to shoot into the air. So I thought, why not Coca-Cola? It'll be interesting in a way. While breaking the sound barrier, we don't know if the Coca-Cola will burst or we don't know what will happen. So like I thought it would be kind of experimental in a way. So yeah.
Is anyone else in your team or in your class trying to shoot soda in the air?
No, ma'am. We are actually like the first people to like actually think about it. Oubre actually thought it was like a very interesting concept as well. So like, you know, I just wanted to be different than everybody else in a way.
Okay, so tell me, you have your objective and you wanted to be different, so you decided your payload was going to be Coca-Cola.
Yes, ma'am.
So talk to me about the steps you had to take and how you had to apply what you've learned in this class to make this happen.
Okay. We use a program called RockSim. It's a computer program, and it basically makes us test what a rocket's gonna do before we actually do it. So we tested out with a liquid substance of Coca-Cola to be shot into the air through a testing phase, and it worked out pretty well. So like that gave me high hopes in order to try it for real. We're gonna put Coca-Cola in a bag into this clear payload here. It's gonna be like visual, so that you can see it shaking and bubbling and everything. It's gonna be awesome. You're gonna love it. And as that happens, it's gonna we'll just gotta see. It looked good on visual like testing, so we expect the same thing to happen like physically.
Okay. Tell me about what classes you've taken outside of rocketry that have prepared you to be successful with this project.
Mr. Taverner, he's like it's not graphic design, it's like video production, but it's a computing class, and like learning major computing in order to use RockSim is like a great way to like learn how to do this stuff. Because if you don't know like basic computing, it's gonna like throw you off. As soon as you see like codes and numbers like everywhere, it's gonna be like very strange for the average person. So there's that class.
So you used your background knowledge from other classes to help you be successful
Yes,
here.
ma'am.
Okay, when's the big day?
Well, May 14th, we're gonna be shooting this baby. It's gonna be ready. It's gonna be color coded. It's gonna have Coca-Cola. We're, you know, I ain't gonna say we're sponsoring, but like it's gonna make them look good. We're gonna make them look good.
Okay, and I trust you that you're on top of all that copyright stuff for us, right?
Yeah, we're fine. We're fine.
Okay.
We're fine.
Okay. Good job. Okay, we're back with Mr. Oubre. And Mr. Oubre, after speaking with your students, I heard that there's a really big day coming up on May 14th. Can you tell us what to expect on that day?
Sure, we're going to be loading up at midnight on May the 14th and spending the entire day out in Fredericksburg, Texas. The public is welcome to attend. I think all they have to do is pick up a ticket at the front gate. The tickets are free, but they need to make sure that there's a count of people that are out in the field and they know the number of people that are out there. But everybody's welcome to attend. I'm quite sure some of the parents are going to be out there. Hopefully you'll be out there too.
I will absolutely be out there representing you and supporting our campus. And what can I expect to see? This will be my first time.
So there's going to be usually at least 6 or 7 high schools out there. So throughout the state of Texas, there are high schools from all over Texas, mostly from around the Houston area. And they'll be doing the same thing that we're doing, just prepping their rockets and trying to meet their objectives, you know, for their individual schools.
How exciting. How many years now have you participated in this?
We started this program in 2008. It started out at Waco High, and then we moved it to A.J. Moore, and then of course A.J. Moore merged into this school. And so 2008 to, so 8 years.
Wow, that's exciting. Now I understand that you received a grant from the foundation for your rocketry program. Tell us about that process, and also what are you doing with those funds?
Oh, that was great. Yeah. Now we've gotten enough funds to build a trailer to take us all the way to Fredericksburg with all the equipment we need, all in one place. So it's been fantastic. Before, we had to load everything up on buses and containers, and it was just a huge mess. And now we have this beautiful trailer to take with us out there, and we have all the comforts that we can get in the central part of Texas. So we have a pop-up tent, and we have a generator to charge our phones, and so a nice ice chest for plenty of cold drinks, and so it's been real nice. And then, of course, I spent lots of the money on individual kits for kids that are kind of hanging around the edges of this process. They have kits to work on and learn their process on their own. And so it's been a great learning experience, and it was really money well spent.
Wow, that sounds exciting. And what amazing things you could do with our kids through that grant from our foundation.
We have something for everybody.
Absolutely. Well, that's it for us, and we want to thank you for joining us and supporting our rocketry class.